Dr. Nerenberg's mind-body workout system.
Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters. It's an honor to be here with you, a privilege. I'm so grateful to be with all of you, those of you in the room, those of you watching on DVD, those listening on the CD. You are the source of the inspiration, the reason that I'm able to reach within myself and share with you this knowledge, these ideas, these inspirations. You're actually, in that sense, the foundation and the source of what I'm doing. And I'm extremely grateful to each and every one of you for this wonderful opportunity. Today's topic is getting paid for what you would do for free. Subtitle is How to Get and Keep the Job You Love, a Respectfully Real Approach. We'll start with the last part, respectfully real approach. Being respectfully real involves using words to create bridges, to create connection, as opposed to creating barriers. That's the essence of a respectfully real approach. It has to do with the idea that we have the right to be ourselves, our real selves, as long as we express ourselves respectfully, that is, with kindness and wisdom. Now we're taking this very concept and bringing it to the job place, to our professions, our jobs, our occupations, our trades. The statement is you have a right to be who you are on the job as long as that expression is done in a respectfully real manner. This is a very new concept. So when we go into this, when we're talking about being respectfully real, we're not just talking about being real. We're talking about being honest. We're talking about being respectfully real to express ourselves, but in a real way that will not offend another person, will not harm another person, and one that will build a bridge to another person. Now, when you're thinking about a profession, a job, a trade, we always think about the work, the task itself. Just like students go into university, they read the description, and they say, that sounds like a great class. They read the job description and say, that sounds like a great job. I'd like to do that. That's what I'm trained for. That's what I've always wanted to do. Or if you're not trained, you say, well, this looks like a good job. That's not enough. I'll tell you why. That job, that description of a course at the university, if it's taught by the most boring professor, you're not going to like that class. If he's just rattling along, moving, you can hardly keep up with him, you're not going to like the class. If you go to a job and the boss or his managers are oppressive or unfair or abusive, you're not going to like that job, no matter how it was described. So whenever you think about what work you want to do, it can never be only defined in terms of the work. It's also defined in terms of the people, because you know and everybody knows that if you're on somebody's bad list, that job, no matter how much you like the work, will be a nightmare. I see it all the time in my practice. I love the work, but whatever I do is wrong. I get criticized. I had all these years of good reviews, and now I can't do anything right. So the work is not only defined by what you do, but it's defined also by the quality of interactions with your supervisors and your managers, and defined by your relationship with your fellow employees. If you're having a problem with one of those employees and you can't have it resolved, that's oppressive. And when people are oppressed on the job, they bring that stress home. And I've seen people think about it night and day, the offense done to them. I've seen it many, many times. So we can only define the work that we seek, not only in terms of what we like to do, but also by who we're going to be with. So if a person's going to take a class, I always tell people, talk to students who've been there. What do they think of the professor? You want to work for a corporation and you go and you Google that corporation. It's good to know the background. So when you're interviewed, you know something about that. But that information, that computer will not tell you the work environment that's there. There are some corporations that are known to be very abusive to their employees, very hard on their employees. And then there are some that are known to create a wonderful corporate culture where each individual is nurtured and encouraged. And that's something that's not on the job description. It's not something you could Google. That's something you have to talk to people about. That's part of doing your homework on looking into where you're going to be working. So it's not just a right boss. It's not just the right job. It's a whole constellation of factors of the work, the boss, the coworkers, and how long you have to drive to get there. Gas being what it is, the wear and tear on the car, the freeways, particularly say in Southern California. Do you want to have an hour commute? Put yourself in danger on the road. The most dangerous thing any American will ever do is to get in a vehicle and be on the roads. We lose 43,000 Americans a year due to collisions with privately owned vehicles. That means within 2 years, we lose more Americans than we did in the entire Vietnam War. So you have to take into account, do I want to be doing that? So there's also, and you're not paid for that time. So whatever the salary is, you have to factor in, well, I'm spending 2 hours there, 2 hours back, 4 hours. I'm not being paid. What does that make my real salary? You have to take that into account. If I took this job closer by, the hourly rate looks lower, but when you look at my total time, it's a better deal for me. There's much said about the interview process. Excellent material about how to be. You know, they'll tell you, well, dress a certain way or joke around, but not too much. Reveal things, but be careful how much you say. Wonderful tips, very practical tips. And you can Google it. One of the ones that I picked up here is, you know, you don't want to fabricate or exaggerate your background. If you don't feel you have enough qualifications for a job, rather than lying about it, you can wait until you get more experience. And they say, and it's also said, don't just blast out unsolicited resumes, because it annoys about 63% of recruiters. It annoys them when you just blast it out. It's okay to send a resume if there's a job opening, if they're asking for it. It's okay to ask if there's a job opening. You call up and say, is there a vacant position? But it's not okay to just go sending resumes out, according to this one thing off the internet. And after you've had an interview, to let the hiring manager, the hiring personnel know you're interested, it's good to call about a week after the interview. So this is some of the etiquette that you can find out about. And there's many more good factors that you can find out. That's not what I'm going to deal with here. I'm going to be talking about aspects that you won't find anywhere else. Nowhere else will you find it. Very important part, you want a job, if you can find such a situation, a job or some form of work, well, you would be happy to do it for free. I'd be happy to do this for free. Heck, I am doing this for free. Because I love it. Hopefully someday I'll make money from the lectures and whatnot, but either way, I love doing this. You want to have something you do that you look forward to going to work. And you're not watching the clock every minute, gee, when am I getting out of here? That's not a good sign. You want something that you're not looking at where the day goes quickly. Now, an important aspect, people look at, well, what will this job do for me? What kind of perks? What kind of benefits? That's all good. But there has to also be the desire to serve. We're all servants of one another. What can I add to this company? What service are we providing for humanity? What are the needs of humankind that I'm fulfilling through the work I do? We need to look at the needs of the age and help fulfill those needs in the most profound sense that we can. Thus, we are making a right livelihood. We're in tune with our own destiny. It's important to decide, do you believe there is such a thing as a destiny that you serve? I feel there is for me. And through this destiny, I serve certain missions, this being one of them. To share with you Dr. Nerenberg's mind-body workout system, to share with you a social revolution of dialogue. This is part of my destiny, part of the missions I serve. But each person has to decide, is this just a job? It's better if it's a career. But even better than a career is a destiny, a mission I serve. It's even greater than career. When you're in tune with your basic inner nature and you're serving that destiny, you're serving the missions that have the deepest meaning for you, That is the greatest fulfillment of life. There's nothing that comes near that except for a great family life. If you have your family life, your marriage, and then or your relationships where love is expressed and where you're being your real self, where you have unity with those in your family and your friends. But then to serve what you conceive to be a destiny. Now, if you don't feel you have a destiny or mission you serve, well, the next best one is to say, well, this isn't just a job, it's a career. But then again, if you say, well, it's not a career, but it's a job I like, or it's a job at least I can handle and until I can get something better. That's the next step. So you have a destiny with a mission, the next level career, the next level a job. This is the level. You want something where you feel a passion. And generally that has to do with a mission or a destiny, the passion. I can't wait to be there. This is my passion. Of course, when you have a passion, it's something you would do for free. And then now you're getting paid for it. Well, that's amazing. Absolutely amazing. What can I give? What can I get? These are important aspects of the whole process. Now, to go in with the right attitude, what is the key to going in with the right attitude? And that's where Dr. Nerenberg's mind-body workout system comes into play. I'm going to give you power thoughts that enable you to come in with the best possible attitude imaginable, those thoughts are going to affect your perceptions, they're going to affect your behaviors, they're going to affect how you look, how you listen, what you say. It's all going to be in these power thoughts. Once again, let me say, you're not responsible for the thoughts you have. You are responsible for the thoughts you choose to have. And the power thought system, Dr. Nerenberg's mind-body workout system, is the most efficient way to choose your thoughts where they internalize and where they have dominion over all other thoughts. The whole idea is to have constructive thought that has dominion over destructive thought, negative behaviors, because we're choosing powerful thoughts. And I'm going to share with you those thoughts. But first, I want to demonstrate your power to have the thoughts that you want. I'm going to demonstrate a power that only human beings have. No other species on earth can do what I'm going to ask you to do. And what I'm going to ask you to do is very simple. A child, when asked to do it, can do it. And you're going to do it effortlessly, flawlessly, naturally. And it's the foundation for the whole mind-body workout system. Right now, I'm going to ask each one of you to have a pleasant memory. Have a thought about your past. It could be this morning, something you ate that you like, the person you talked to. Have a pleasant memory now. Take a moment for that. I know, as I predicted, that you did it effortlessly, flawlessly, naturally. I know you did it. No question. I had 3 or 4 that went through my mind. Many of you did as well. Now, what does that show us? It shows that we can shift our attention at will into the past. We can put our thoughts into the dominion of the past. It's a great power. We instructed ourselves. We were instructed to go to the past. We went to the past. And prior to my asking you to do that, you weren't thinking about that. So you're able to shift at will. As important, or even more important, you chose the polarity. You chose a pleasant memory, a positive memory. It wasn't a negative memory. You chose a positive. You chose to do it, and you did it. You executed it flawlessly, every one of you. Flawlessly. And a child can do that when instructed to do so. Now, we're going to do the same thing about the future. Have a thought about the future, something you're looking forward to. It could be a meal, a meeting, an event. Take a moment to do that. Once again, you demonstrated this amazing human power of directing your attention at will from whatever you're thinking about to the future. You chose now, not the past, but time dimension of the future. And you chose something positive. You chose the polarity. It was something you were looking forward to. It was something positive. And you weren't thinking about that before I asked you to do it. This demonstrates the power of the human mind, an enormous power that we haven't fully exploited yet. But you're going to see that you're able to shift that power to do that. You can also then shift to put on a thought that you want to have. I'll give you a thought. I will be loyal to you personally and to the company. I will be loyal to you personally and to the company. That's a very good power thought to use when going for an interview. You're looking at that person. You've already been repeating, I will be loyal to you personally and to the company. You will be loyal to that person. When you get hired, you see that person around, you're always going to feel grateful if you're hired for a job that you like and that you want. You'll have that loyalty. I'll be loyal to you personally and to the company. It's a powerful thought. Now, in Dr. Nerenberg's mind-body workout system, the thought has to be repeated every 5 minutes the first day and twice an hour thereafter. And there's certain factors like focusers, so I'm going to repeat it now. I will be loyal to you personally and to the company. I'm close my eyes. I'm paying attention to what I'm saying. I will be loyal to you personally and to the company. I will be loyal to you personally and to the company. So I'm repeating this. Of course, you're repeating it silently. I'm not saying you should say that to the person interviewing or the people interviewing you. I mean, you might. But I'm just saying that's your attitude. You're repeating that thought. You're focusing on a thought. You close your eyes. There are over 21 factors that facilitate the internalization of a thought where it affects everything that we do. It has dominion over the negativity and other thoughts. It keeps negative thoughts from arising. And when they do arise, they give us a way to dominate it. Then we find proprioceptive involvement. Exercise helps facilitate an internalization. So I'll move my shoulders around. I will be loyal to you personally and to the company. I will be loyal to you personally and to the company. I will be loyal to you personally and to the company. So that proprioceptive involvement, that rotating my arms around. Just an example of one exercise. You can use any exercise, lifting weights, running, walking, stretching. Now we can use what's called an amplifier. I will be very loyal to you personally and to the company. I will be very loyal to you and to the company. Very is an amplifier. We've amplified the power of the thought. We can even amplify it more. I will be extremely loyal to you and to the company. I will be extremely loyal to you personally and to the company. As you internalize that thought, it'll affect how you even look at the person interviewing you. And it's something a person might even want to put in a resume. I am a loyal person, a reliable person. You know, most employers really value that. They want someone who's going to be loyal. It's hard to find. Now, that's a good thought to have. I'll be loyal to you personally and to the company. But I'll tell you why. It's a very practical thought. We could have just said, I'll be loyal to the company. The person interviewing you, if they own the company, well, in that sense, they are the company. Being loyal to them personally and to the company is one and the same. But very often you'll have an employee doing it, a manager. They have the company's well-being at hand in their mind, but it's not identical. They may want somebody who's going to be loyal to them personally. That'll help their own advancement. That will be on their side during a conflict. It's not always identical. They have their own agenda, which is the well-being of the company, but their own well-being is high up there, sometimes even more important than the company, or a close second. So that's why the power thought is not just I will be loyal to the company. It's I'll be loyal to you personally. I'll be extremely loyal to you personally and to the company. You have to keep in mind, it's not always identical. There is always also another agenda. What does everybody want on the job? Everybody wants to feel respected. Nobody wants to be disrespected. Every human being, it's a natural desire, the desire for respect. It's a natural aversion to dislike being disrespected. A good power thought to have that will also connect you to the person or people interviewing you is, I respect you. So again, I'm closing my eyes, rotating my shoulders. I respect you. I respect you. I respect you. I respect you. Could add an amplifier. Then close my eyes, rotate my shoulders. I respect you very much. I respect you a great deal. I respect you so much. I respect you. So you're coming in. You've heightened up your respect as you've been walking in. That's going to affect your behaviors. I am extremely grateful for this interview. I am extremely grateful for this interview. Another powerful thought. You're walking in with gratitude. You're walking in prepared. Your psyche, your whole being. I'm very grateful for this interview. It may come up. You may have verbalized some of these power thoughts, or you may not. But this is a very good one to verbalize. I'm very grateful for this interview. Another good power thought along those lines is thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So you're repeating it to yourself. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now here's a big one. This is big what I'm about to say. It's all big. This is extra big. Extra big. I'll tell you why. Most people walk into a job feeling they have to be phony. They walk in saying, I got to be what you want me to be to get this job. They're there for 3 weeks later. They stop being themselves and nobody can stand them. They quit or fired. Why even put yourself in a position? If you're going to be respectfully yourself, do it during the interview. For those of you that have the courage to do it, be yourself, respectfully real, because they're going to see who you are soon enough. And they're either going to like that or they're not going to like it. Might as well get yourself screened out right then and there. There are many ways of doing that respectfully. A statement such as, I'm so grateful for this interview, and I'm going to be truly myself with you, so you'll really know who you're getting. I'm not going to try to be who you think I should be or who I think you want me to be. I'm going to be myself with you because I respect you. That's my sign of respect to you. That's rare. But being respectfully real, that's an excellent approach. Excellent. So we're not talking about a technique. We're not talking about test-taking behaviors. We're not talking about interview skills. We're not talking about skills in this approach. There are many people that are better qualified than me to talk about the skills. I'm talking about being yourself, respectfully. You listen when the person's talking, respectfully. You speak respectfully, but you're talking about who you are. I will be myself respectfully. I will be myself respectfully. Now, that doesn't contradict the next power thought. I really want this job. I really want this job. I really want this job. That will be projected. And of course, you're going to call within a week after the interview to show that you want it. How was the process coming on the selection process? And I really want the job. There's nothing wrong with saying that either. I really want this job. Power thought related to one of the others is, I am a loyal and reliable person. I am a loyal and reliable person. Again, you're walking in. People want, what do you want in an employee? You want somebody who's loyal, you want reliable. If somebody believes you're loyal and reliable, two people are both very competent. One you feel is loyal and reliable, more so than the other. You're going to choose the one who's loyal and reliable. And believe me when I say this, if the person's even a little less technically competent than another person, but that person believes, the interviewer believes that this person will be more loyal and reliable, they will hire that person in many cases. They will hire that person over somebody even a little more competent. Somebody's greatly more competent, that won't apply, but somebody is a little more competent, and they feel this person is capable of loyalty. This person will be reliable. It's actually more important than being a little more competent. Now, when you walk into the interview, you want the person naturally to like you. So the best power thought is, I like you and I respect you. I like you and I respect you. So you're already walking in, preparing your psyche to like the person. Why are you doing that? Well, if you met that person under other circumstances, there might be something about them you don't like. So you want to walk in with as positive attitude towards that individual as possible. You walk in feeling vulnerable is normal. You want something from this person. They're not just an interviewer. A person could be a family. They have their personal life. I see you as a person like myself. I see you as a person, as myself. We're all basically the same in terms of our basic needs. We all want a good life. We all want a quick death, a painless death. It's universal. That person sitting in front of us who has the power to hire us, to help us move forward in life, is a person like myself. That takes away some of the vulnerability, helps create more of a connection, that thought. The most natural thing during an interview is to want to impress the person interviewing us. Every person walks in wanting to impress that person. Every person walks in wanting to impress the interviewer. Everyone. The question is, do you want to impress them with somebody you're not and pretending to be someone else? Or do you want to impress them being your real self? The respectfully real approach is, I want to impress you with who I really am. I want to impress you with who I really am. I want to impress you with who I really am. I want to impress you with who I really am. I want to impress you with who I really am. That's revolutionary. I'm not trying to impress you by psyching out what you think you want. I think you want me to say, and then feed you what I think you want me to say, feed you what I think will get me the job. No, I'm going to feed you who I really am. It's going to save us both a lot of time, because if I phony it up, you're going to find out who I am, and we're going to have a problem later anyway. Or you're going to find you like me now, you're going to like me later. If you like me now, pretending to be somebody else, when you find out who I am day after day being a certain way, either you're going to fire me or I'm going to want to get the heck out. So we might as well straighten it out right now. This is who I am. I'll put it right on the line. But I really want this job. I am honored to be here with you. I am honored to be here with you in this life, which is so short. We have a 15-minute interview, a half-hour interview, whatever it is. We don't get to be around millions of people for a half hour or 15 minutes. We're sharing this time as two human beings on the face of the planet for some period of time, for an infinitesimally small period in the context of eternity. Within 100 years, neither you nor I will be here. We'll be forgotten. We'll be but a dim memory for some. And we sit here together talking. It's an honor to know you and to be with you. And this is something in the moment now. It's not if I get the job. It's not, see, when people go in for an interview, they're thinking of the future. Well, this moment doesn't count. What counts is whether I get the job or not. No, wrong. A respectfully real approach is in the here and now. I'm here with you now. I'm honored to be with you. I'm honored. We're sharing this time. We may never meet again, but for these moments, I got to know you and you got to know me. And I can't say that about the vast billions of people on this earth, but you and I got this time together. It's a privilege to have this time with you. It's a privilege to have this time with you. It's a privilege to have this time with you. It's a great privilege to have this time with you. That's the power thought. Some of these power thoughts you may want to express to that person. If that's truly who you are, I personally would. The person might say, well, that's ridiculous. That's okay. Be sincere. Respectfully real is being sincere, being who you really are. There is only this moment now. There is only this moment now. So as I sit here talking with you, there's only this moment as I look at each of you. As I look towards the camera, now you're seeing me, there's only this moment now. During the interview, there's only this moment. I may never see you again. You may not want to hire me. You may not even like me. Heck, I may not like you really deep down, but there's only this moment now. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to really talk with you. I don't know how many more moments I have. I don't know how many more moments you have. There's only this moment now. Implied in that statement is this. This moment really matters. 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 That's the way of life. both during an interview, when you have the job. We don't know how many moments we have. This moment really matters. The time I'm sharing with you who are interviewing me, this moment really matters. Hopefully I get the job, but even if I don't get the job, this moment really matters. Circumstances, providence, accident brought us together in a very important decision. Whether I will be around you more, whether I'll be a part of this company. It's a very important decision. This isn't a casual conversation, is it? No, it's anything but casual. I really want this job. It can make a big difference in my life. You are important in my life because you are a part of that decision. You are very important in my life. I want this job, or I need this job. It is not a casual situation. The power thought, this moment really matters, is profoundly true. I will do a great job. I will give 100%. I will do a great job. I will give 100%. So I'm doing some exercise. I'm closing my eyes. I will do a great job. I will give 100%. I will do a great job. I will give 100%. I will do a great job. I will give 100%. When you walk in with that thought, I'll do a great job. I'll give 100%. Not 99%. I'll give 100%. Of course, if you feel you don't mean that, but you want to mean it, I want to do a great job. I want to give 100%. I want to do a great job. I want to give 100%. You use that as a shield penetrator, which is one of the 21 factors. When you have a little doubt, you might say, well, I don't always give 100%, but I want to give 100%. I want to do a great job. So that statement will get you through. A shield penetrator, I want. Typically, we find within 2 weeks we don't need the shield penetrator. I will do a great job. I will give 100%. I will do a great job. I will give 100%. You can drop the want. That's what we found with shield penetrators. Many times after a person gets a job, they say, this is not for me. That's not really for me. I don't like this about the job. This, that. I'm not talking about major points. I don't like this. I don't like that. Any employee, any independent contractor who has the attitude, I am grateful to have this job, I belong and I am honored. I am grateful to have this job, I belong and I am honored. I am grateful to have this job, I belong and I am honored. Person, when they have the job, repeats that power thought. I am grateful to have this job. I belong and I am honored. I am grateful to have this career. I belong and I am honored. I am grateful to have this destiny. I belong and I am honored. Everybody wants to belong to somebody. Everybody wants to belong somewhere. I belong here. The only way to belong is you have to want to give. You have to desire to serve. I belong here because I serve you. I belong here because I serve you, not because you're paying me. I don't belong because you pay me, because you may stop paying me. I don't know. There's some job insecurity, but I'm not insecure about this. I will continue serving you to the best of my ability. I will serve the organization. I will serve you personally. I'm secure in that. Nobody else can be secure in the job. The business may close. There might be layoffs. But I am secure in what I will give. You can't be secure in what you're going to continue to get. You could be demoted. You could be fired. You could be injured. I'm secure in what I can give. I am grateful to have this job. I belong and I am honored. We spend more time on the job site than we do with our families. Many times 8 hours, 10 hours. These people are super important to us. I belong and I am honored. You get to know people you never would have met otherwise. You get to meet people that you might become lifelong friends with. It's a very powerful circumstance. It's a livelihood. You make your living. And that's why you're grateful. I am grateful to have this job. Why? I'm grateful. because I make my livelihood. And I'm grateful because I'm doing something meaningful. I'm grateful that I'm honored to know these amazing people. I'm grateful and I'm honored. Those are power thoughts. You choose some portion of them, you rotate them, but those are the power thoughts that will empower you once you're in the job and in keeping the job. I wrote a book called Career and Happiness. Career and Happiness. I'm going to read certain quotes, expand on it. Know yourself and your path will be clear. If you like people, don't work in a closet. If you're a people person, naturally you're going to choose a career where you're going to be around people. If you're not a people person, you may want to work behind a closed door on a computer or whatever. No one can see the flea, but it is known by the dog scratching. And so it is with destiny. It is a niche within the soul. Observe where you desire to scratch, and the way will be found. In terms of finding it, your destiny, or even whether you believe in such a thing as a destiny, see where the deepest itch, the deepest yearning is. And once you find this is truly my deepest yearning, then when you find a livelihood in line with that, you can call that a destiny. What I'm doing right now is a destiny. I desire to share this knowledge. I desire to achieve that. My drive towards goodness and wisdom was enormous in myself, absolutely enormous. And so I put myself in a context that would draw out of me the wisdom, my knowledge, and thus I'm with you. I could be doing many other things, but I'm with you because that's the itch. That's the desire. As the old Persian proverb says, make no search for water, but find thirst, and water from the very ground will burst. If you have a strong desire to know your destiny, to know your highest calling, it'll come. But you have to desire to know it. I desire to know my highest calling. I desire to find my deepest yearning. Because some people, I've heard of one fighter, he said he would like to get in fights in the bars or wherever he was. He liked fighting. And then he got into the Ultimate Fighting Championships. And he says, this is great. I'm getting paid for doing what I do for free. So that was his deepest thing, was fighting. Wow, there you go. There's an example. It could be at any level. It could be at the level of taking care of people. It could be at the level of punching people in a legal way where you're making money, which he did. What is genius? It is simply releasing your true self within the career for which you are best suited. The genius within each person can be released once they're in line with their destiny. People say, wow, you're great at this. So where'd you learn to do? Well, I didn't learn. This was my hunger. I hungered for it. I yearned for it all my life. I knew as a kid I'd be doing this. I always wanted to do it. He said, gee, you're a genius. Where did you study? What books did you read? It doesn't matter. But I read this, I did that, but it was for my hunger. Career is not just a livelihood. It is a subculture of people who share companionship and a language of their own. You're making your livelihood. That's super important. You got to pay your bills, achieve the material success you want. Very important. Money matters, no question about it, tremendously. But you're also around a subculture of people. If you're in information technology, there's that whole type of person. If you're a boxer, there's another type of person. If you're a police officer, you're another subculture. If you're a professional racer, that's another. They're all subcultures. Ideally, a career is the calling within to our deepest passion, whereby we earn a livelihood. To earn a livelihood while having a good time is the ultimate in careers. We all want pleasure. We want to avoid pain. Every living creature wants pleasure and wants to avoid pain. If you're not in the right job, you will have pain. If you hate your job, if you hate your boss, you will have pain. If you love your job, you love your boss, you will have great pleasure. Natural, the most basic instinct. And of course, the way to have that is where it's a passion, where it's a destiny, where it's a mission, because everybody around feels that. They feel the boss, of course, or the owner says, this is great. I've got somebody who loves it. And it just emanates. Just being around this person, it's an inspiration. I own the company. I'm making the money. And this person's more inspired about it than I am. Wow. You know, what can I do for you? What do I have to do to keep you? What do I have to do to make you happy here? That's what comes out of it when it's a destiny. Life is too short to waste in the wrong occupation. You can't do it. You can't waste 8 hours a day doing something you hate. Now, you may have to do it for a while, support your kids, but you don't want to have to spend a lifetime. Life is too short to do that. Do not fear failures in pursuing your goal. Rather, fear not seeking your highest path. At the end, you don't want to look back and say, gosh, I wish I had done this. Gosh, I wasted so much time doing that. At the end of your life, which comes quickly for all of us, whether it's another 100 years, it comes quickly enough. You don't want to look back with regret. You want to say, I pursued my deepest passion in all areas, in finding the mate and finding the job. If you would still do what you do, even if you weren't paid, then you know you have found your true calling. That's one of the contexts. That's one of the signs. Heck, I do this for free. And choosing a career, think of the needs of the times and think of the future. It was not wise to become an iceman when refrigerators were invented. The iceman had his ice pick and he'd carry up the ice up the steps. And it was a time before refrigerators. But if you look at the needs of the time, and now they're electric refrigerators, why would you want to be an iceman? Who needs that now? You look at the needs of the time. What are the needs of the times we live in? And how can I help meet those needs? What are the greatest needs? For me personally, I feel these are times, and perhaps it's always been this way, of great loneliness, much isolation in society. So I wrote a book, Overcoming World Loneliness. I've started a social revolution of dialogue to speak more deeply, a new social contract, to address those needs of the times. I do that as a service, and possibly there'll be a financial return. Search within to find if you believe in the possibility of destiny. When you have that, it's a great power. When you become a man of destiny, a woman of destiny, the power of that's enormous because a destiny cannot be stopped. It has a power, a life of its own. Once you're in tune with that destiny, you cannot be stopped. If it's not a destiny, setbacks and failures will stop you. But when it is a destiny, it cannot be stopped. You keep going in spite of yourself. You cannot take the count of 9 or count of 10. You cannot stay knocked out. You may get knocked down and you're up going. Choose a path of which you can be proud. You don't want to be ashamed of what you do. To be content with the manner in which we're in a livelihood is half the formula for true happiness. The other half is to have a good family life. Some people abandon their families to their careers. It's dangerous. It's not a balanced life. To contribute to society is essential for happiness. You have to feel you're doing something meaningful, something that has a purpose to it, something where you're doing some good. It is best to go straight for what we want. But if we don't know what we want, then it's best to go straight into the unknown. Just charge your head, moving your head, say, I'm not sure what I want, but I'm not going to sit around doing nothing. I'll go ahead with this is what I think I want. Finding love and our true calling will add happy, healthy years to our life. Having the right job will keep you mentally healthy, will keep you physically healthy. If you have a job you hate or you don't like, you will not pull health from it. You'll become sick more often. To a more practical note, there's nothing wrong in choosing a career based on what our parents want. Sometimes our parents want us to do a certain thing. So, no, Mom, that's my life. I don't want to do that. Often they know us in ways that we don't understand. This is not a popular view, but contains much wisdom. If we are not happy in it, then surely they will want us to do something else. The parent wants us to have something that's good for us. They want us to have the right job. They want us to do something meaningful. We make a good living. They want us to marry the right person. nothing wrong in taking into account the career or the mate that our parents advise us to. It's good to pay attention to the advice of our parents. Certainly we don't have to follow it, but it's good to take it seriously into account because they want what's best for us. We're talking about a normal parent, a normal mother, a normal father. They want what's best for us. So it's good to listen to that advice. It is best to do something which totally fascinates us. This will help to keep us healthy and happy. Be fascinated. Just totally fascinated by what you do, the people you're around. One essential aspect of our career and of any career search is maintaining our health. That is an important part of our job. Without it, we cannot do what we have to do. An important part of going to an interview, an important part of being an employee or an independent contractor, you have to maintain your health. So one of the best preparations for the interview is to be healthy. One of the best preparations for any career is to maintain your health. You have to know how to eat, what exercises to do. So in addition to whatever technical knowledge you have, whether it's computers or sanitation or boxing or psychology, you have to maintain your health. That's actually part of career preparation. One of the greatest satisfactions of this life is developing a mastery in a given area. Mastery. I've been a psychologist for over 35 years. I feel a great deal of mastery of what happens in this room when I'm listening and talking with people. I can get to what's really going on and help people rapidly. I have tremendous satisfaction in having this mastery. It took me 20 years to really understand human nature, and another 10 years to really be able to apply that knowledge in a way that I can really help people long term. That's 30 years. I've developed a great deal of mastery. I can always learn more, a great deal more. But I can tell you, there's nothing greater. One of the greatest satisfactions of this life is to stick with something and develop mastery. I may be ignorant. I always tell people, my ignorance knoweth no bounds. They ask, you know this, you know. I say, no, you don't know that. You're a doctor. No, I don't know it. You never heard of this person, never heard of that person. My ignorance knoweth no bounds. Am I embarrassed by that? Well, it's hard to embarrass me with it. But in terms of, I have a mastery of certain things of understanding life. My wife has said of me that she feels that I'm a creative genius and one of the greatest geniuses of our times in terms of understanding human nature and wisdom. That's a great compliment from one's wife who knows your limitations. Hard work is, of course, imperative most of the times to achieve success. Being lazy can inspire new ways. There's a place for laziness. And I'll give you an example of that. B.F. Skinner, who was the founder of operant conditioning and many aspects of learning theory at Harvard. When asked about his scientific approach, he says, being lazy is helpful for a scientist. What do you mean? He says, well, I used to make these pellets for the rats. They press a bar or a pigeon pecks a little circle, and I give them a pellet each time. I had a machine. But I had to make the darn pellets by hand, and I was lazy. So I decided, well, I don't want to keep making pellets all day. Little tiny pellets. So I'll just give them every fifth time. So you give them every fifth time. What he found was that if you don't reinforce the animal each time, if you don't get reinforcement every time, you build up behaviors more resistant to extinction. So when you stop getting rewards for what you do, if you're on what's called an intermittent schedule reinforcement, that is just getting rewards once in a while, keeps you at it longer when you're no longer getting the reward. Discovered that whole phenomenon of resistance to extinction. He said being lazy was part of his scientific method. Doesn't sound very highfalutin, but it's real. He also said, if you find something interesting, drop what you're doing and just go with that. Drop everything else. He had a big research plan. But then he noticed on the cumulative graphs, as the pigeons or the rats were pressing the lever or pecking the circle, that the curves would go like that in cumulative graphs. Oh, what happened? Well, he found out the mechanism jammed and they weren't getting fed. So they stopped, but it followed an orderly pattern of that. It was a curve that would go like that. Thus developed the whole field of the study of extinction of behaviors and what variables will affect how rapidly people stop doing what they do. That is the source of actually people becoming addicted to gambling. If they got, every time they pull a slot machine, they got it. But then they never got it. Then they didn't get it for 30 times, they might stop. But if they pull that lever down, they only get it once in a while, a random scheduled reinforcement, highly resistant to extinction. You keep that person hooked for life, and that's what happens in gambling. Very close analog to pressing the bar for a rat or pecking the disc for a pigeon. All came out of being lazy and following up on an accident, dropping his whole research program to follow something that was very interesting. And choosing a career, reflect on the path of your parents, for your way may be well contained therein. We are ourselves, but we are our parents. So we need to at least take into account what they did when we continue with ourselves. If there's a certain category of knowledge which brings us a sense of meaning and accomplishment, then we know what it must do. Gee, I feel great with this knowledge. I love this knowledge. Person might say, you know what, I can make a lot of money on computers, but I hate being inside a room. I like being outdoors. I've known people highly educated who became laborers because they like being physical. They knew that about themselves, even if they can make more money with an inside job. If you do not feel worthy of receiving your most profound fulfillment, then consider receiving it while feeling unworthy. Gosh, here's a job I really love, but I'm not worthy. Well, go for it anyhow, even if you feel unworthy. I'm not worthy, but I'm still going for this job. I will arise and I will become worthy. The time to pursue your true career is now. Go for it as soon as you can. Make plans. Invest in yourself. Sometimes people just stumble upon a job that turns out to be a career that they enjoy. Gee, I never intended to do this, but gee, I'm making good money. I like it. Turns out to be a career. That's what happened with me living here in Whittier. I moved here, and 19 years later, I'm still here. I never lived this long anywhere in my life. I just stumbled into it for different reasons, and here I am. It is a privilege and an honor to serve within the capacity of our true calling. You will feel deeply honored once it's your true calling. I've attempted to share with you, I'll put the book down, I attempted to share with you ideas and approaches using Dr. Nerenberg's mind-body workout system, sharing with you certain wisdom, certain ways of life, that for the most part you won't find anywhere else. There are many excellent books and articles on how to get the job you want and interview, but this is a unique approach, one that needs to be given, one that's consistent with being respectfully real. And I'm going to open up now for questions. Yeah, Marty.
When you set in your destiny, for whatever that is, nothing can stop you. So whatever your higher calling is, say it's a pastor or a great leader or an entrepreneur,
right? How
do you find that's your calling?
To find your true calling, you have to be very honest with yourself. Self-honesty is important. Without self-honesty, you can't find it. Say, what is the thing I crave? What's my greatest hunger that I really have? This question has to be asked. What is it I crave? What is my deepest hunger? What is my deepest yearning really? Not what I'm supposed to want. No. Not what I'm supposed to want. What is it I really, really, really want? What is it I crave? What is it? But then you have to recognize the levels. It may not be a job you crave. It may be an enormous urge to goodness. And if you have that, you say, wow, I have this urge to goodness. You may want to do something as a social servant, as a social worker, psychologist, or minister, whatever, rabbi. So often it's not in terms of a job. It's often in terms of a hunger, an urge to goodness, for example. Somebody else may say, I just love blowing things up. I love it. You may want to, work with dynamite, blowing up holes in the earth for highways going through.
or a special effects person on the movie set.
Well, the person may want to be a special effects person, or they may want to be a military person or shooting guns or whatever, because they want to destroy and they want to put that destruction to destroy in a socially acceptable way. And one person, my greatest thing I really have is I like creating new things. I love it. It could be anything, or it might be just I love creating new types of silverware. I love creating new designs for clothing, or I like just creating. Period. As long as I'm being creative, I'm happy. Well, a person may want to go into industrial design. Okay, I want to once again thank you for the privilege, for the honor of being here with you, of sharing this inspiration. You being the source of the inspiration, the opportunity to look deep within myself to bring this out. I thank each of you in the room. I thank each of you watching on DVD. And I thank each of you listening to me on CD. Thank you.